So we're out here in the shop today to talk about how to properly measure a gate with a drop in it. If you have a gate and you want to put it up on a hill, maybe the hill is very minimal, it's got a slight rise, or maybe it's very extreme and you're building a gate on the side of a cliff or a castle, who knows. Anyway, I have some of this here on the table to kind of demonstrate how to properly measure a drop gate. So if we're looking at the diagram here, these two files represent the post. This sheet of paper is to represent kind of the backdrop, but we have an inch gap here for the hinges and the latch. Basically, you can take your measuring tape, you measure from inside of the post to the other inside of the post on a square gate, and you can get your takeoffs pretty easily. If there's a slight drop in it, then you would think, okay, I can measure from the ground level up to where the level line is. Let's say maybe it's 2 or 3 inches, and then still measure from inside of the inside. And technically you would get pretty close, but I think the proper way to do it is to measure actually the ground level. So in a severe case, if the gate was incredibly dropped like this on a hill, you would actually want to take your measuring tape all the way down here where the ground level is and measure from the inside of this post all the way to where the ground level is to the inside of this post, because that distance is going to be much greater than the distance it will be from inside to inside. So that was just one thing I thought I'd point out, the correct way to do it, especially on an extreme grade level. You definitely want to measure on the ground level from the inside of one post to the next. And then also a good way to do it is use a string line and a string bubble and just get it level at the high side of the post and get it level to your other post, and then measure the distance where that line is to the ground for your drop.
So we're out in Shipland today. Eric is gone, so Matt's taking over.
Holding down the fort, baby.
Holding down the fort. Not a whole lot going on. It's really cold outside, so stuff slows down. So they go from here, they get loaded up onto the cart, and then they're going to be loaded up into the back of Joe's truck so we can take them to Rapid Ship in Republic. Boom, nailed it.
We're out here in the shop today. We've got some gates to make for an upcoming job out in Branson. The fence is going to be 8-foot tall wood fence. It's shadow box, and they basically have 2 entrances. It's a big rectangle fence in a parking lot. An entrance on one side and an entrance on the other. They're both roughly 20-foot openings. So we're out here in the shop trying to figure out how are we going to make these gates swing and how are we going to get them not to droop. Definitely a lot of weight once you put the pickets on, so we're out here figuring that out today. So after talking it over with Jim and Victor, we have decided as a group that we're going to make these a little bit different than we normally would. We're not going to use shark hardware, we're going to use bulldogs that would work for chain link. So essentially we're going to have a round post for the hinge side so that the bulldog can hook on, and then it's going to convert to square tube and then another round post at the latch point. And the reason being is so that number one, we can use the bulldog hardware, but number two, the square tube is so that the guys can throw the pickets up onto the square tube. Probably use maybe self-tapping metal screws We kind of went back and forth with the idea of 2x4s, but that might add some weight to them, so we're going to not do that and just put them straight onto the frame. We also have the problem to solve about trussing the gate. Since it's shadow box and you have pickets on both sides of the gate, the normal truss rod isn't going to work in this situation, so we decided to truss the gates in a different way. And I got a sheet of paper here. I'll show you guys. Normally with chain link gates, you got let's say a double drive like this, and the truss rods would come from the top of the hinge side down to the corner, so that you could then sync them up and kind of help keep the top of the gate raised. Since we cannot use those rods, basically what we're going to do is do it opposite, and that way there will be some upward force, hopefully helping keep these upright, and so that they will not droop. Yeah. For the hinge side of the gate, we're going to use a 2-inch thick piece of pipe. It's schedule 20. That's what we have on hand. That way it'll be nice and stout. Like I said, we're going to use square tube for the rest of the frame, but then on the end we're going to use a piece of 1 5/8". And the reason for that is so that we can basically attach commercial style drop rods. They're going to be using a chain to latch these two gates together, and with a set of commercial style drop rods, we'll be able to drill some holes into the asphalt, keep them in place, and then easily lift them up if they want to open and close them. So stay tuned. So just finished up the first set of double drives. We got one more to go. They went pretty good. The brace went in there pretty well, and I think they're going to turn out pretty good. Hopefully they'll stand up to the test of time. And we're going to finish up these next two and then send them out with Victor and the guys probably tomorrow or Friday.